The late afternoon sun-bathed. Ouagadougou in golden light as President Ibrahim Traoré motorcade slowly made its way through the busy streets. The young leader, often described as both fearless and humble, had just finished a long day of government meetings. His advisors expected him to head straight to the presidential residence. But Traoré surprised everyone. "I want to eat at a small place tonight," he said suddenly, glancing out the window at the rows of modest restaurants that lined the street. No guards, no ceremony, just a simple meal with the people. The security team hesitated but obeyed. Within minutes, the president stepped out of his vehicle and walked into a modest roadside restaurant. Patrons froze, recognizing him immediately. But Traoré raised his hand with a smile. "Please, continue. I'm here as a customer, not as your president." The little restaurant buzzed with whispers as he sat at a table by the window. Soon, a waitress approached, holding a notepad nervously. Her uniform was simple, her hands slightly trembling. She lifted her eyes and suddenly dropped the pen she was holding. "Ibrahim," she whispered. The president looked up, puzzled. For a moment, he studied her face. Then his eyes widened in shock. "Aisha, is it really you?" It was her, his childhood friend. They had gone to the same village school, shared pencils, laughed under mango trees, and dreamed of the future together. Back then, they were inseparable. But as years passed, life took them in different directions. He had joined the army and risen to become the leader of the nation. She, as he now realized with a pang of emotion, was working as a waitress in a small restaurant. For a long moment, neither spoke. The restaurant had grown silent, every customer watching. Tears welled up in Aisha's eyes as she tried to compose herself. "Mr. President, I mean, Ibrahim, I never thought we would meet again like this." Traoré stood up, walked around the table, and embraced her warmly. "Forget the title. You will always be my friend," he said softly. The room erupted in applause. Many people recorded the moment on their phones, sensing they were witnessing something extraordinary. Memories of childhood. They sat together at the table as old memories came rushing back. They spoke of their teachers, their little competitions in class, the long walks to school barefoot, and the games they used to play after lessons. For a brief moment, Ibrahim was not the president of Burkina Faso. He was just a boy again, reunited with his best friend. But as the joy of reunion faded, Traoré's eyes grew heavy with sadness. He looked at her uniform, at the tired lines on her face. "Tell me, Aisha," he asked gently, "how has life treated you?" She hesitated, then gave a small smile. "Life is life. After school, my parents struggled. I couldn't continue my studies. I married young, but things did not go well. Now I work here to support my children. It is hard, but I am grateful. I can earn something." The president listened in silence. Each word felt like a dagger. He remembered the bright, ambitious girl who once dreamed of becoming a teacher. And now here she was, carrying plates and cleaning tables, her dreams buried under years of struggle. The unexpected gesture. Without warning, Traoré stood up again. "Aisha," he said loudly, his voice strong but emotional, "I cannot sit here as your old friend and as your president, knowing you carry such burdens. You once shared your food with me when I had none. You gave me courage when I was afraid. Today, let me share my strength with you." The restaurant gasped. Cameras flashed, but Traoré ignored them. He pulled out his phone, called one of his advisors, and gave instructions on the spot. "Tomorrow," he declared, "a scholarship will be established in Aisha's name, so that young girls who cannot afford education will have the chance she was denied. And as for you, my friend, you will not carry trays in this place anymore. You deserve better." Tears streamed down Aisha's face. "Ibrahim, I cannot accept this. You are the president. You have a nation to lead. I am just." "You are not just anything," he interrupted firmly. "You are my friend. You are the reason I remember where I came from. And no matter how high I climb, I will never forget the people who walked beside me at the start." He reached for her hand and held it with quiet strength. "Let this moment show the world. Greatness is not measured by power or titles, but by how we treat those we love." The restaurant erupted with applause again. Some people were crying openly. The staff gathered around, hugging Aisha, while others rushed to share the story online. Within hours, social media across Africa and beyond was filled with images of the president, embracing his childhood friend in a small restaurant. A viral moment of humanity. News channels picked up the story, replaying the emotional reunion again and again. Commentators debated the symbolism. A president lowering himself to sit in a humble eatery, showing the world that leaders are still human. But what captured people most was not the politics, it was the sincerity. This is what leadership should look like, one commentator said. Not arrogance, not distance, but compassion. Messages poured in from around the world. Some shared their own stories of forgotten friends. Others praised Traoré for reminding them that kindness is a power greater than any weapon. A new beginning. A few weeks later, the nation learned that Aisha had accepted the president's offer. She was given a position, working with a national program that supported women's education. Her children were enrolled in school with full support, and the scholarship fund in her name was launched with overwhelming donations from across the globe. At the ceremony, she stood beside Traoré, both of them smiling through tears. When I first saw Ibrahim walk into that restaurant, she told the crowd, I thought it was just a dream. But today, I understand that dreams can come true in unexpected ways. He remembered me not as a waitress, but as a friend. And he gave me back something I thought I had lost forever, hope. The crowd rose to their feet in thunderous applause. For once, politics and power were forgotten. What remained was a story of two friends, separated by time and destiny, yet reunited by loyalty and kindness. Epilogue. Years later, people would still talk about that day. Some would call it a turning point in African leadership. Others would call it the most touching act of humility they had ever seen from a head of state. But for Ibrahim and Aisha, it was something much simpler. It was a reminder that true greatness lies not in the throne, but in the heart.